Life is a game for the narcissist. Life is a game for the narcissist, and the main motivation of the narc's existence is to always be the winner. The irony is that the narc might be the winner every single time, but the narc is not a winner, they are almost always a loser. Why is that the case? Well, there are many possibilities, so it might be a good time to analyze the narc's inner emotional workings to get at least one piece of the puzzle. We won't even discuss the fact that the narc is unable to commit, another piece of that puzzle. The narc is devoid of many of the positive emotions that are required for success at the job, and in a relationship. You could call the narc emotionally detached, but that is only true for love, commitment, loyalty, empathy, and sympathy. The narc feels none of these for their friends, coworkers, or partners. But there are plenty of other emotions, the negative ones, and those emotions encompass the entirety of the narc's involvement with other people. So yes, the narc does invest emotions into a relationship. Which ones are they? Envy, jealousy, fear, anger, and downright hatred. Yes, the narc is fully engaged when it comes to those emotions. But those emotions don't bind, they do just the opposite, they divide. So is it any wonder that the narc never has a problem moving on, never committing? Let's take the subject of relationships. The average person is genuinely looking for a life partner. Someone they can spend the rest of their lives with, bond to, and grow with. In a normal relationship, the bonding process alters both people so that they become even more compatible and are able to have a peaceful, joyful coexistence. That is the goal of both of those partners, because both have heavily invested their hearts and souls into each other and made themselves vulnerable. So how does the narc feel about a partnership with someone? Well, the narc doesn't look for love or a lifetime commitment, since the narc is incapable of comprehending or appreciating those things. Therefore, the narc is out for an experience. What is on the narc's shopping list? What is a narc looking for in a partner? Is it looks, charm, charisma? Someone they truly understand? Those things may be taken into account, but the narc's number one item on the list is to find someone that is easily manipulated. This is what makes a codependent or self-love deficient individual the narc's prime target. The narc needs someone that is trusting, someone that has a strong desire to seek the approval of others, someone that has a strong urge to please others. So yes, all of the other things on the wish list that normal people look for in a potential partner are there for the narc, but the narcissist's primary objective is ease of manipulation. All other qualities of the potential partner are secondary. So the narc begins playing the game, and aside from the emotions above, which are really divisive, the narc really never has an emotional bond to their partner at all. The narc does mirror and mimic the love that they see in other genuine relationships, and even the love that comes from their partner, but it is all fake. An astute partner occasionally notices when the narc shows their ankle, but the narc quickly regroups and the fantasy of a genuine love relationship is maintained. Over time, the target becomes so wrapped up in the illusion of being in a real relationship that the target will even ignore the obvious lack of concern of the narc. However, as the narc gets deeper and deeper into their devaluation phase, eventually the narcissist's callousness, disloyalty, duplicity, lack of empathy becomes so obvious that the target, even in their hypnotized state, starts putting together these anomalies in the relationship. Things that just don't fit with the narc's profession of their love and devotion. But by then the narc doesn't care anymore, since they are planning on new supply anyway. So what is the point? Well, the narc is just playing a game and extracting as much fuel supply, attention and energy that they can from the partner, and that is really the extent of the narc's actual involvement in the relationship. The facade or mask the narc presents to their partner is just there to maintain the energy supply. So the narc plays their sick game of pretending to genuinely love, and getting their partner to be fully convinced of that love gives the narc the thrill of winning. So let's say the partner starts noticing that the narc is really not genuine in their affections and decides to end the relationship. Well, that is totally unacceptable to the narc, and they will do everything in their power to win back the partner. Why? Well, we already know it isn't due to a love bond, so why? Well, the narc is compelled to resume the relationship because they simply can't imagine themselves as being a loser in their own game. The narc needs to be the one who discards, the narc has to be the one that quits the job. The narc has to be the victor in all circumstances. So ironically, the narc's obsession with being a winner is one of the main causes for them continually being a loser in life. We can take this same attitude and transfer it to a workplace, to a friendship, or even to a relationship with family members. The root motivation of the behavior is all the same. The narc must win. At all costs. For the most part, those costs are meant to be borne by others, but the narc is even willing to lose something important, just to win in their petty game of life. You could say the narc would be willing to break an arm if it meant they could break the victim's 2 legs. That would count as a win for the narc. What about the successful narc? Well, that attitude combined with intelligence can actually be an asset in the business world or in politics, where a ruthless disregard of the well-being of others can be an advantage. So what does this mean for the victims, some of whom seem to get into one narc relationship after another? Well, everything, if you begin to understand that only you, the empath, have ever really given of yourself in that relationship with the narcissist. The narcissist was a detached observer, simply draining fuel from you and putting up whatever pretense necessary to obtain that fuel. In the beginning, the narc gave a large amount of positive reinforcement in the idealization phase, supplying huge doses of compliments, encouragement, seeming concern, and emotional support. But the narc carefully measured out that energy expenditure, making sure that eventually all of that expense would be recovered, and from there on out the narc would have a steady source of energy to draw from the victim that would not be reciprocated by the narc. So there would be constant energy flowing from the victim to the narc. Quite a good return on the investment, another win for the narc. Once the victim had been depleted of all of their positive energy, or the narc got bored, or there was the potential for new supply, the narc began the devaluation phase to get a steady flow of energy from the victim again. This energy being all negative. Yes, the narc would start abusing the victim, or if you just want to say, the narc just started not being nice to the victim. The narc purposefully began their sick game of never allowing the victim to ever feel like they were quite satisfying the needs of the narc. Moving the goalposts. Hamster wheel arguments that left the victim out of breath, never having gotten anywhere. Reframing of things the victim said to make the meaning of those words totally different than what the victim intended. Gaslighting, where the narc would play games with the victim's sense of reality. Lastly, and of course the mainstay of the narc's abuse, the narc's premier talent, that of the lie. Yes, the narc was deft at lying strategically, and the narc then started drawing negative energy in the devaluation phase of the relationship. As the relationship went further into the devaluation phase and the narc went full force, degrading the victim's sense of self and self-esteem and sense of reality, the narc still wasn't fully satisfied. The narc takes things to a whole new level, and here is where the narc goes from being not a good person to undeniably evil. It is one thing to have depraved indifference to a person you previously pretended to love, but here is where the situation goes beyond the pale. These sick, depraved pieces of filth get pleasure out of tormenting and devastating their previous partners, inflicting every mental cruelty imaginable on those former partners. If that cruelty can be timed at the right moment, the victim's birthday, a holiday, or the death of a family member, all the better. That creates maximum impact. The narc knows all of the vulnerabilities of the victim, since the victim confided everything to the narc, so the treacherous narc holds nothing back. Maximum pain is inflicted by the narc in any way possible. So here is the sickest part of it all, the part that makes the narc deserve every disparaging metaphor. These cretinous demons would actually get pleasure, sick pleasure that would give them a lifetime of glee if they accomplished driving the victim to suicide. Yes, that is the ultimate win for the narc. Are you getting it yet? The narc doesn't care about you, he never did, and he never will. The narc doesn't love you, she never loved you, and she never will. Life is but a game to the narc, and it's all about the narc winning. That is the unbelievable reality of many narcs, and the undeniable reality of the person that called herself my lifetime partner. She will one day receive her reward. I just have one request, never to see or hear from her again. I have left it all in God's hands, and if He chooses to save her and she avoids eternal damnation, good for her. The likelihood of her humbling herself? Slim to none. So what is the point of all of this for the victim? The narc has discarded you, and in your mind you have suffered a great loss. Here is the reality, a reality that is a two-edged sword in the sense that it can wound deeply, but if looked at in a different way can heal deeply as well. What is that truth? What was already stated above but needs repeating: the narc doesn't care about you now, they never cared about you, and they will never care in the future. The narc doesn't love you now, they never loved you, and they never will. Think about the implication of those facts. When the narc first charmed you and made you feel like $1 million, they didn't care about you. When the narc seemed like they didn't care and then made an excuse and convinced you they did care, no, the narc was lying, they didn't care. When the narc told you how special you were and how much they loved you, they didn't love you. When the narc showed lack of concern and lack of empathy and just treated you badly and you made excuses for the narc, you were just covering up the obvious reality, the reality that you as a victim couldn't accept. The narc didn't care. The narc didn't love. When the narc discarded you and abused you mentally and possibly physically, you made all sorts of excuses for them. They were frustrated, overworked, in physical pain, it was that time of the month, their blood sugar was low, you name it. When you made excuses that the narc didn't really want to abuse you, you were wrong again. The narc didn't care. The narc didn't love. The narc wanted to harm you and abuse you. The narc abused on purpose and by design. Yes, the narc may come back again and try to convince you that they had a change of heart, that they really do love you. Now you know it isn't true at all. The narc doesn't care. The narc doesn't love. Yes, whether the narc is friendly and building you up or when they tear you down, it is all the same. The narc doesn't care. The narc never cared and the narc never will. The narc doesn't love, they never did, and never will. Life is simply a game for the narcissist, and the people they come in contact with are simply chess pieces on a board. But the narc is playing both sides. The narc controls the game and is in essence playing himself. No one else is in control. So where has the empath gone wrong? What does a person with self-love deficit or codependency have to realize and learn? You deserve genuine love. You have the right to expect respect. It isn't okay for your partner to constantly be not nice to you, constantly berating you. You have the right to expect empathy from your partner and loyalty. It isn't your job to fix another human being, especially if that person's flaws are damaging you. It isn't love when you give all of yourself to someone with no reciprocation and make all of the compromises and absorb all of the other person's negativity. One-sided love isn't a relationship, and once a partner is caught lying and cheating, it is time to reevaluate the relationship and start taking some action to protect yourself. Because the fact is, a relationship with a narcissist is never safe. You are always at risk of being replaced by fresh supply and ruthlessly, callously discarded. For whatever reason. But one thing is for certain, the impression that the narc gives you of your worthlessness in comparison to the grandiose narc is pure fiction. You are far better than the narc and you can do much better. You have to educate yourself on narcissism and then find a genuine human being to spend the rest of your life with. A person who can actually be at peace and satisfied to spend the rest of their lives with you. Someone who will compromise and values you for the human being, the individual that you are. Someone that you can grow and thrive with on your journey through life. That is not just a dream, an unrealistic ideal, but something that is possible when both partners are genuine and honest and are serious about making things work. May you be surrounded and filled with peace and the assurance that you will heal, that things will get better. The absence of the narc in your life can provide you with clarity of thought as the distance of time and space separates you from the narc's dark world. In time you will once again live in the world of light and appreciate the beauty that surrounds you. A world where the air is fresh and you can breathe deeply. Comments are welcomed. Peace be with you.
There's no use in saying it is over, it is gone now. There's no use complaining, it ain't easy being strong. Life's a roller coaster, sometimes crazy, like the wind.